All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We've got coL.CrunCher, our blue Protoss spawning in the west position, and our red Zerg EG.IdrA spawning in the east position. And probably these two sides, or these positions, are exactly what IdrA wanted. Also note the GLHF and
the surprising radio silence. Yeah, I was gonna say. IdrA seems to just have, a broken enter key in that last game as well as this one. No big deal. We will not beat him up for this. We do see that CrunCher, again, going to be going for a little bit of early expanding. We see that he is in position 2 based upon the numbering on his ramp. We also see that IdrA going for the usual Overlord on 9, and I already think this is kind of a noteworthy scout direction for IdrA. He's going to send his first Overlord to the north, so it passes over the entrance to his base. That'll allow him to spot any sort of early probe, and in particular, any early cheese.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out there, and it's going to just keep on traveling up there, make its way around. Meanwhile, we got a pylon on the low ground. We saw CrunCher do a forge fast expand in the first game, and he is going to go ahead and do something similar here, it appears, as he puts the forge down just at the base of his ramp. And why not? Large map lets him get that advantage, lets him tech up a little bit quicker. He knows that IdrA is not really prone to early aggression, and we already do see the hatch down for IdrA going to be caught here by CrunCher. Yep, he just gets a little tiny view of it. He's not really looking. Open up the curtain all the way. He doesn't need to. He knows that it's there, and he'll move in and see what else is going on.
I'm excited to see that there's a hatch first going on for IdrA, because we haven't gotten a chance to see him do that in a very, very long time. Not only, does he generally favor a little bit safer of the opening, but every time he has gone for an early hatch build in tournaments, players just always seem to have scouted him first and end up blocking that. So very, very pumped to see the heavy macro mode by IdrA. Right now IdrA is likely praying that his opponent did some sort of early expand, so that way IdrA can even get his third a little bit faster. And IdrA, look at this drone moving out into the middle of the map. He may very well be taking the juicier third, and looks like he's just scouting.
Nope, yeah.
How disappointing.
Definitely could be, but we do have a pylon here in, inside the base of IdrA. It will be canceled, just kind of feigning some pressure here as the hatchery will finish up. We got the pool down, Queen coming out, and one other thing, Day, is that especially here could be really important. I don't know, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but what about creep tumor first in a situation like this? Just because there is a lot of ground service between your main and your natural.
Oh, I actually think that IdrA would be wise to go double creep tumor first. In general, you don't quite have enough money to support that much additional larva that early, especially given the fact that IdrA got this extra geyser early. So, players like HeyPro, you've seen do a double creep tumor. I would love to see that here, because just as you mentioned, Wheat, this map is pretty damn big. You want to begin oozing out the purple very, very early on.
And we'll see if he does that here in a second. It looks like no.
Double vomit.
Yeah, double vomit indeed. So he's not worried about it. It's not coming for a while. He can wait for the next 25 energy day. We have CrunCher brewing another probe around, couple Zerglings out here for IdrA. Note the Overlord positioning here just outside the base. I do believe this one on the south end is also going to be heading on over, as we have these Zerglings just chasing this probe away. We do have speed on the way now, just started, and there is the creep tumor. See, he wanted to vomit and then tumor. So weren't too far off. He knew nothing was going to come, and maybe that was a wise decision. He wants more drones. Addicted to drones.
But he has to fight his addiction because he doesn't have any money. It's going to tear his family apart. Look at all those larvae just sitting there doing nothing. Those poor, tragic little unmanned larvae. IdrA also taking his third hatch already in the base of complexity. CrunCher, look at this beautiful, beautiful wall-off gateways, cores, forges. One thing that's not participating in that wall-off is your friendly neighborhood Stargate. So it looks like CrunCher is going to be going for probably that same Colossus Void Ray mix. IdrA trying to poke in with the Overlord, but again, CrunCher with the uncharacteristically fast Stalker instead of Sentry, going right away to pick off that Overlord.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to see exactly nothing in that exposition right there as he does go down. And Zerglings, they've got to be worried. They're trying to phone in back to base and go, this is not going to be good. Meanwhile, another gas going down. We do have Lair on the way. First Void Ray is popping out, and more gas being thrown down here for EG.IdrA. But again, with that threat and seeing this wall off, you know, I'd certainly ask or maybe question, could it be happening again? I just am curious to see how he'll deal with it the second time.
One thing to note about these Zerglings, they are very, very important. Importantly noting that there's no warp gate being researched right now. And that is almost always a sign that air is coming out. And even if you don't know any sort of tech patterns based on a no warp gate early on, you can easily say to yourself, well, if he's not getting a warp gate fast, I guess I'm not getting attacked early on. And that's exactly the mindset we see going on in Camp EG.IdrA. Look at that, ventral sacks going down for the Overlord. We also see Hydralisk and Evolution Chamber. In other words, all macro, all the time in Camp EG.IdrA. 58 drones out already as the Void Ray and Phoenix approach EG.IdrA's base.
Yeah, and they are going to see the Evo Chamber start to work on these Overlords. Let's see exactly what this Void Ray is going to do. Finds a big bunch of Overlords. Queens are going to maneuver over, take away all the shields of the Phoenix. However, this Void Ray will get at least a second kill on an Overlord. Now, the Hydralisk Den is done, and we do have our first Hydralisk on the way, but there's only one, and he wants to make sure that he at least gets them out. They need a buddy system. Otherwise, those Phoenixes will absolutely destroy them. We do see another Overlord going down. No, I think they only just got the one. So they will escape from the base. I mean, really almost like last game.
Yeah, I mean, that Void Ray, even though he does have 2 kills, one of his buddy Phoenixes was lost. It does seem that CrunCher does want to stick to that 3 Phoenix, 1 Void Ray composition. Looks like he is chrono boosting that Warp Gate, and there is the Robo facility going down with an additional 2 gateways. So CrunCher clearly going for almost the same mix they did last game, but man, look at EG.IdrA just already getting that 4th base in the middle, trying to lift up some Hydras, but more Phoenixes do get lost. And look at the food count with me, 55 to 109 EG.IdrA.
That's
already
insane,
doubling
dude.
his opponent's food 10 minutes into the game. Not so good for CrunCher.
That's absolutely insane. And you know, one thing I do like about what EG.IdrA is doing is he is set up for drops here. We've got a big group of Overlords starting to mass up here. Is he going to go for a drop here in his opponent's base or in some sort of offensive fashion? He is moving some Hydras across, still chasing away those Phoenixes, not really wanting to give away what could inevitably be coming. But considering how big this map is, I do like this. He could just be using them as an exit strategy maybe, because once you get those Hydras in, it's just hard to get them out without sacrificing large numbers. Here he's going to load up, however, and I really like what we got going on here. We do see a couple of Stalkers coming in as well, and here comes the drop.
And it looks like Void Ray's already charging up, beginning to blast him away, but instant retreat by CrunCher. EG.IdrA just waltzing right in with a huge number of Hydros and Zerglings. Probe coming into the front, getting absolutely slaughtered. The Colossus in the back dealing a lot of damage with Hydros. You managed to pick off the Void Ray. A lot of those gateway units at the front taking damage, but also those Phoenixes trying to participate, lifting up all of those Hydros, and CrunCher with a very, very nice defense. Looks like he is going to be able to stay alive, but look at the unit count again. 55 to 125, and look at this at the back of the base. Hydralisks have managed to pick off a lot of those workers.
Wow.
In the worker count, 61 to 31. CrunCher is actually in a dangerous, dangerous spot now that he is taking that bottom left, and EG.IdrA knows that there's another Overlord heading to that south expansion to do more damage to that undefended Nexus.
Oh my god, yes, it's just mad Hydra drops everywhere. Another one here in the main base, going to be taking down those Phoenixes before they're stopped by those Colossi. Meanwhile, down in that southern base, it does look like the Nexus is going to go down. There's absolutely nothing. There's even a Stalker over here. Finally, he moves the Stalker. He's going to warp a couple more in, but I think they might actually be able to take it down. They could easily focus down these Stalkers, but it doesn't look like he's really paying attention. That's okay. He's got another drop coming into the main here, Day, and this is just absolutely insane. Taking the least mobile unit in the Zerg arsenal, pretty much, and making them super mobile here and using drops incredibly effective. He could go after the Robo facility here, and if he drops it 5 by Colossi, this has got to be over.
and they're just dropping, picking off the road facility and lifting back up, leaving a couple Zergs there to deny mining a little bit longer. Brilliant play by EG.IdrA. EG.IdrA known as one of the more passive defensive Zergs out there, ramping the aggression up to max. Look at this, only just now starting. +1/+1 upgrades, 11 roaches on the way, Spire coming out, another fully locked and loaded Overlord drop, trying to find some point to pop into. No big deal. Looks like EG.IdrA in absolute dominating control of this match. And again, you know, you can even look at the front of this base. The front of CrunCher's base is completely undefended. 9 Stalkers, 2 Colossi, 2 Sentries. That is it against the ever-increasing Zerg swarm.
And now we've got roaches coming out for EG.IdrA as he makes a smart transition over, just getting a little bit more HP in there. Meanwhile, just take a look at the probes and the bases of CrunCher. He has gotten things back to normal, but amazing that those 4 Hydras were able to do so much damage there at the southern base. Love the effective uses of drops here. And we've also got the creep spreading. What are you uh-ohing? We got him coming in again at the southern base.
Just can't believe this aggression. There's a target fire on the Nexus, and he's thrown on some force fields, but no, there's a bigger drop in the main. Great job by EG.IdrA. He does take out the South Nexus right as all those Hydras unload, and CrunCher doesn't have the reaction time to pull those probes out of there. His focus being split in a number of corners. EG.IdrA having a little bit of load and drop difficulty there. Does lose a couple Hydras in the retreat. But I just want to redirect you once again to my favorite location on the map, the Resource tab. 178 to 83, more than doubling. EG.IdrA just extends that lead farther and farther. There are Zerg units all over CrunCher's base.
Yeah, to add insult to injury, that we've got some corruptors coming out, so suddenly the only unit that's really giving any problems here to EG.IdrA in these battles are those Colossus, and those will easily be taken out, no problem. As now CrunCher's going to find himself, you know, worked out for him that he was able to basically lock things down, max out on 3 bases, and take it to EG.IdrA. But in this case now, having to rebuild his third is a very likely target. We've got a huge, meaty, beefy force that just wants to break through this middle, and I love this idea. He's going to go ahead and just break this wall down, and we've got drops in the back, in the main. Which one will CrunCher go for? Looks like he's going to go for that middle, but look at that. The roaches go away while the Hydras completely wreck inside the base. Absolutely wonderful orchestrated attacks here by EG.IdrA.
EG.IdrA just target fires that Nexus, takes it down. CrunCher's pin can't even battle in the back of the base without making vulnerabilities, and a roach drop at the bottom side of the main. A couple zealots wait there, but EG.IdrA gonna happily begin picking those off. Does look like CrunCher has managed to repel the main. He might have to re-expand to his own main in a little while here. CrunCher will be able to defend this roach drop at the south end, but there's a roach push going on in the main, and the Corruptors catch the Colossi off guard. One Colossus falls, the other one pops out on the wrong side of the wall, and Roach is going to take out one of the Corruptors, going to clean up another, and there the last Colossus falls. Phenomenal aggression by EG.IdrA, making this matchup look easy.
You know, I gotta say, Dave, I love CrunCher's style. I love him as a player, but right now I feel like I'm watching a guy play an AI, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna throw as many units as you can, and you see how long you can survive for. Well, so far he's been going for 1856, but all I feel like is that this is just a never-ending wave as we have more Hydras coming in through the front. Eventually CrunCher will be broken down. He could very likely target fire this Nexus, which looks like exactly what he's gonna do. There will be a quick cancel on it, but that's okay. Hydras just switch their targets to something else. Meanwhile, Roach is coming in through the front, and it's devastation everywhere inside of CrunCher's base.
And it doesn't even matter that none of those roaches can shoot up. There are just not enough units. Only 2 Nexi remain. Good game from CrunCher. And EG.IdrA, again, with absolutely no response whatsoever. After that dominating win, I'm sure EG.IdrA has a lot more confidence going into that final match, Game 3 on Crevasse.
Dude, EG.IdrA really made it look like, okay,
so easy.
Let me show you what's up. Yeah, really looked so easy. And now, granted, risk reward at the beginning, really getting that economy up, getting those drones up to amazing number allowed him to do that constant aggression. As soon as he started with one, then he starts adding on the second drop, and then we started seeing the third drop, and eventually, just like the creep on the map, he just engulfs you with his race. And it's kind of weird, Day 9, have you ever had this feeling where, like, sometimes when you play your buddies, you really, like, you play better than you ever have played before, just because you got to beat your buddy. Like, all my friends tell me, like, whenever you play, you always play so awesome versus me. It's like, because I want to beat you so bad. That IdrA had that I want to beat you so bad. You could just tell it by the way he was playing. But I'm a little surprised that wasn't necessarily there in game number 1. So I think this next game, this could be another IdrA, like, I want to beat you so bad.
Amen. I mean, like, I will say, as someone who grew up with Nicholas Tasteless Plot, I do completely understand that urge of, God, I want to murder this person, and I want everyone to know about it. And IdrA could not have chosen a more public venue to do so, as I do believe there are around 50,000 people watching live right now. So IdrA, who seemed to become a different Zerg player in Game 2, is definitely going to have to maintain that same level of aggression if he wants to pick apart CrunCher in Game 3. Kind of funny to note that IdrA's almost giving us a lesson. He says, if you play really passively against the Protoss and let him get his big army, you lose. Exhibit A, Game 1. If you never stop blasting his face, Game 2. You easily walk over. You start doubling his food at the 10-minute mark, and it just never actually stops. It is remarkable. It's kind of funny because, those air openings have been giving Zerg so many problems. But the question is, how do you deal with it, Wheat? Well, since he's not going to attack you, you just get 70 drones by minute 6, and then you win immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, the drops were just a great choice, especially for that map. A lot of surface area, especially the Protoss army. It's just like trying to squeeze through 2 buildings. It's like, oh, hey, gotta get to the main. Come on, guys, let me through here. And that obviously was a big problem for CrunCher, as you saw him just like having to split his army, guys up here, guys down here. So IdrA really played that absolutely phenomenally, and you're right. He just answered with a perfect response. So I'm ready to hop into Game 3. I've got to know how this is going to end up here, as EG.IdrA takes Game 2, but is tied with coL.CrunCher. Day 9, are you ready for Game 3?
Dude, I am ready to rock. Let's go directly into coL.CrunCher against Evil Genius's IdrA on Crevasse. Game 3. Let's hit it.